minivan, as you probably know, started off with Chrysler Minivan in the early 80s, and Honda started examining the minivan market kind of in the mid-80s. We felt we had achieved all the car areas, and it was determined that there were a lot of Honda owners that were maturing, and they were moving into other areas of the market, such as minivans. So to avoid missing that market, development started in kind of early 1991 for the Honda Odyssey.
The design research, basically what they did was they came over to the US and Canada and went to areas where people use minivans. They went to Disneyland, spent a couple weeks there. They went to schools, hockey arenas to see how they use their vans, what they found useful about them, what they found awkward to use about them. So they've tried to incorporate the things that would make this vehicle more user-friendly.
And it's kind of nice to bring out a new product and have something new to talk about. We've finally been able to come out with a product that we're proud to put the Honda H on.
Good morning.
We were looking at how to get the message out, as this is the first time we've been in the market. How could we successfully convey to people that this van does do everything that we think it does for the consumer? So what we've done is we've approached some actual consumers of minivan, competitive vans. They've been invited to California to give us their honest, unbiased opinion of how they think this van fits in with the needs and wants that they were looking for.
My dear Lucie came to me and said, David, I was asked if we would like to go to California to test the Honda Odyssey.
I said, this is unbelievable, and whoa, what's the catch? What do you want from me? How much is it going to cost me? No way.
It turned out to be something which was actually really above board, believe it or not.
You want to have a controlled reaction. You want to be able to do a nice squeeze on the brake pedal so that you don't lock up the wheels if they were capable of being locked up. So you're actually demonstrating very good driving skill in actually not activating the ABS. My emphasis will be, making, first of all, sure that people's seating position is correct, that they're driving in a position of control, and emphasizing, proper use of the steering wheel to maneuver through the exercises, good use of the brake pedal to, to demonstrate what does happen in a panic, for example. So yes, I think people will benefit from the experience. I hope so. How did that feel?
Well, not very good. It didn't move at all.
Yeah, as soon as you did the panic brake, because there was no anti-lock braking system, the wheels locked, and even though you were putting in all that steering, nothing happened. You still continued in a straight line.
Scary. Yeah. I was as scared as I was sitting in the passenger seat with her.
Aww. Oh, that's not nice. Anyway, switch over.
It's not a toy. This is a serious piece of machinery. And we do drive the Mazda minivan, and we had checked out vans in the past before we purchased that minivan. And to get in on the ground floor of something new like this, I thought was a real opportunity.
The engine, it's been mounted forward and low down. The reason being, in a frontal impact, rather than coming through to you, it goes down underneath. I've mentioned the side impact members. You also get adjustable seatbelt anchors for the front passengers and a headrest for all passengers. Some of the competition doesn't get headrests in the rear seat. Not the safest of ideas, because you do get adults back there.
Safety is a very important part of any Honda automobile, especially a family vehicle. It's going to be carrying 2 to 3 children. So the vehicle's equipped with dual driver and passenger side airbags, as well as it meets the side impact standards for 1997 passenger cars, as well as a full frontal impact and rear impact at 35 miles per hour as opposed to 30 miles per hour. So all in all, the safety of the vehicle has been paramount in the design.
Just remove the headrest, pressing the button.
One of the really neat features on the Odyssey is the treatment of the rear seat. To fold it down, remove the headrests and store them in their cubby hole.
Down, and then I turn again, this one.
You've now got a large cargo area and you don't have to worry about storing the seat.
I guess the one thing it doesn't have is a sliding door. That was done, basically the feeling was sliding doors for cargo. You're trying to accommodate people in this van. So you've got 2 doors, it's easier to get in and out of, it's easier to manipulate the doors. You don't have to crawl over, slide across the seat. You get into your seat, you close the door.
So when you do your evaluations tomorrow, we want you to be absolutely frank and candid.
And we make it clear that we will take their evaluations and we will quote them, and we won't hide criticism. And what we found with manufacturers is that they're quite open to that. I mean, I think it's not like 10 or 15 years ago when manufacturers didn't want to hear anything at all that was possibly negative or that would in any way detract from their product. But nowadays, I think they're much more sophisticated and they're quite willing to listen to what people have to say, and a lot of good things can come out of that.
I think Honda are brave because they're as liable to get punched very hard on the chin as they are to get patted on the back. And some of the people here own the major competition. And if they can convince these people that have been driving minivans for a while that theirs is a legit contender, then I think they've done a good job.
Had a great day today and went up through these very sinuous mountain passes in which we were able to test this car to its limit. And I note that I don't say test the van to its limits, because in my view it's somewhere between a van and a car, and perhaps more towards a car than a van. The performance as we went up through these sinuous roads was exceptional as far as I'm concerned. Not to say it's a sports car, but to say that it's really solid. The suspension, as we went through the hairpin turns, you know, I've heard this described on TV, but you know, I won't go into those adjectives, but it was, I was very impressed.
We like this vehicle. Kids like the vehicle. It's smooth to ride in. You know, we do 12-hour drives in a day, and I have back problems, and the seat was comfortable.
Compared to the van that I have, it drives far more like a car. It's very stable, very responsive. You know, it responds well, very pleasant. I think the Odyssey is a wonderful car. I love it. I have really no complaints. It's wonderful.
It drives lovely, it drives like a car, lots of power, the ride was fantastic, and sound, there's hardly any noise at all. I mean, I paid a lot more for the van I got, I'm sure, than what this would cost, but boy, mine doesn't ride near as, well, the ride's probably as good, but it's not as quiet.
I think because it is our first venture into the minivan market, it is obviously very critical that we launch it successfully and that we get consumer acceptance of it very quickly. Because if we're going to continue in this segment, we need to establish a reputation and continue to grow.
Honda is smart in that they don't rush a product to market where there's either no need or where we're not going to live up to our standards of quality and reliability. And clearly they spent the time on the engineering of this vehicle. It's a different niche than the typical minivan, so I think we're filling an area that isn't being serviced right now by other manufacturers, and it clearly lives up to the Honda reputation.
Experience the Honda Odyssey at your local Honda dealer.